How you doing? You ready for me? Okay. My name's Danny McCormick with M&amp Oil Company. Give a little background. I own a small oil and gas business in northwest Louisiana. The fall of 2014, when the price of oil fell, we went from 14 employees down to 5. Luckily, we'd had some good years. Was able to. Those 9 men, all 9 men, all deserved their jobs. But economics, we actually have to cut back when we have loss in revenue. But luckily, we were able to give those guys severance packages and able to get them out and find new jobs. Lost my place here. Phone went off. Hold on just a second. During that same period of time, the state of Louisiana increased my taxes on my small business by $35,000 a year on my expenses. I'm going to say that again. You increased the taxes on my expenses by $35,000 a year. How did you do that? The main way you done it was through J. Morris' bill that increased our sales tax on our electric bill by 400% and brought it up to 5%. The input cost on our business is 20 to 25% electricity cost. So you can imagine what a burden is to that in my small business. The other was through Gordon Dove's bill that put different fees on us through the Office of Conservation. The other was the 1% sales tax. So kind of what I come here to talk to you about today is, my thought at the process. We come down here during that period of time, and you think you come down here, you talk to people, and y'all don't understand what's going on. If we just have a reasonable discussion, you'll see our burden in y'all. And we come down here and we discussed it and we talked to everybody and went back home. Nothing changed. We still tax $35,000 a year. So what I did personally is I started an organization, and this organization is called Cattle Parish Alliance. And it's very simple. We do it very low cost. We go out social media. We inform people of the different taxes being voted on their area. If y'all would like to go to my Facebook page at Cattle Parish Alliance, you can see we're running videos that have been run, for like 5 or 6 days. Has like 15,000 views. I mean, we're having real good success. And what we're going to do through Cattle Parish Alliance is we're going to go into y'all's districts when y'all increase these fees on us and these taxes, and we're going to let you, the constituents, know the truth about what's happening. So, because that's the only choice we know to have. I mean, when somebody increases your taxes like that and it puts a burden on your family, your First Amendment rights about the only thing you have to voice your opinion. So. That's when we started Cattle Parish Alliance. But and really that's what I come down here to tell you about today. I know, we're probably, you don't see us as a threat yet, but eventually we'll be in your district if you raise our taxes. We're just going to use our First Amendment right. We're going to tell your constituents. We're going to tell your friends and your family. We're going to tell them the truth. We're not going to make up anything. We're just going to say, hey guys, these people are costing my small business this. If you want to vote them out of office, if you want to boycott their businesses, if you want to boycott their clients, and hey, maybe you don't have a business or clients, maybe you got donors, maybe you want to boycott your donors. We'll all have skin in the game here, and I don't, and really, this is from somebody that before 2014 didn't even know how to get to Baton Rouge. Let's just do a rodeo arena down here somewhere. So y'all have inspired me, and But anyhow, I wanted to come down here today, and a couple of things about economics that are really simple that I hear y'all talking about today about exports like they're something bad. I mean, you don't have to, have a degree in economics to know the countries that are successful do not tax their exports. States that are successful do not tax their exports. In Louisiana, we do not need more oil and gas. We got bunches of it. We don't need timber. We don't need corn. We don't need rice. We need exports. And when you don't tax your exports, you encourage exports. And when you export those products, you import money, which is what y'all don't have none of. So, but seriously, I mean, from an economic standpoint, you look at Germany, they do not tax their export. That's why they have such a heavy, huge exports. So, those are just simple things that, I hear people talk about, and also, you hear you talk about the penny here, penny there. I guess that's, when I first heard about the 4 pennies that were going to be put on our electric bill, I looked at the gentleman that runs my business for me. I said, they're going to put 4 pennies on our electric bill. He said, why do we care if they put 4 pennies on our electric bill? I said, well, it's 4%. He said, well, I see why we care if they put 4% more on our electric bill. So when y'all talk those things and y'all talk 4 pennies, it's almost like you're leading people to a distraction. Like y'all are intelligent people. Y'all know y'all putting 4% on there. Why don't you call it 4%? Why do you call it 4 pennies? So, but anyhow, anybody have any questions they'd like to ask me?
Danny, I welcome you here from the northwest corner of the state. You are a constituent of mine, and you have started this organization you have, and it's one that's gotten off the ground. And I appreciate what you're doing, because what we're doing have been basically if I understand what you're telling me, we've basically been putting your company out of business.
Well, yeah, when that's basically right. When you see a desperate government when they start taxing your expenses, not your profits. You tax my profits, well, we don't have a problem. I wouldn't be down here. We have none right now.
Would you compare your company to Exxon?
No, not by any means. But on the other hand, too, we have lots of people in the area who work for those companies. So
No, and I understand that. Now, the reason I say that is because a lot of times when individuals in this particular building here, oil and gas, they think of the larger corporations and not the mom and pops. You consider yourself basically a mom and pop, because I know your dad helped you get to where you're at. And
sure.
So from that aspect, I know your whole family works in that industry.
That's correct.
And from that aspect of it, you do take it by heart, and we appreciate that aspect of it. We do have a question from Representative Horton.
Okay.
Hey, Danny, I'm so glad. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I'm so glad you're here. It's always a pleasure,
Thank you.
Especially to talk to people with boots on the ground, which is what we are. You
Right,
know,
no doubt.
And that's who is so desperately needed to be heard from, and you're right, and in Bossier Parish, and I was raised in Caddo, but in Bossier Parish, I mean, we're the same way. I mean, I know people who are small operators who are either out of business or trying to find another way to invent themselves, and the burden of the 4%, it crippled them and their success. And you're right, 4 pennies, it doesn't sound like a lot. I was like your guy that worked for you. And then when it was explained to me, and a light bulb does go off, but I thank you for making this trip, leaving your home and your family to come here and put a real face on a real problem. And I can tell you that I believe the majority of us are committed to fixing that and giving you ability to grow again. And it does seem to be a desperate move to increase the way that we tax the industries and business more than we have currently done. And I apologize for that. And I pray that we find other ways to live within our means.
Right.
And I do thank you. And I've seen your advocate group. It's what I call it. You advocate for small business, and
right.
you do have to hold us accountable. My constituents do me, and they should. And I thank you again. I just want to commend you for being here, and thank you for being passionate enough to make this 4-hour drive.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Yes, sir?
If you're done with me, I got one more thing to say.
You got the mic. Go ahead.
All right. One more thing. We, as small business, this is what we see it. We see the taxpayers here. We see the people in need here. We see the politicians in the middle. We can't force enough money through y'all to help the people in need. The reason we go around y'all is through charities and through, helping your neighbor, loving your neighbor as yourself. That's, government is so inefficient. Trying to take care of the poor through the government is a silly aspect. I mean, it's never going to work. So, maybe we'll break this state trying to do that. Maybe we will, because, but anyhow, that's how you handle the poor, in my opinion. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. McCormick.